Welcome everybody to Parts Unknown, known as the Claus and Clem Show. Oh, the Claus and Clem Show. I'm sorry. Uh, so Claus, what happened? So what happened to you today? Work as usual. Long day of
Man,
work today for me.
well, actually, I'm on vacation. I'm just in a part unknown that cell service, Wi-Fi service, comm service is is dearth. I'm in the probably the deserted, the most deserted part of parts unknown. I'm in the parts where, let's put it this way, ain't no street lights out here. Only lights
Ooh.
you got is the moon, nothing but
Oh.
trees out here. So yeah, so I call and text support and say, hey, what's with the Wi? Oh, we can't figure out, Kaiser, we can't figure out when your password is. You're using that. I'm like, I'm sitting up in here, I got a show to run. We have a nation to entertain, and it's like
Exactly.
I'm sitting
Exactly.
there, I'm like, Lord,
Oh,
amateurs.
yeah.
But this is
No,
this was a one off, so this will
it's all
probably
right.
be the only week I'm here. So
Oh, it's
in the
okay, man.
in the desert.
I talked to the homegirl. I talked to Ruthless. You already know. I texted her already. So you already know she has a lot to say. So
Yeah.
yeah, she wants you to plug your thing where you're trying to find girls for your thing. She wants to plug that. So
Oh,
I'm gonna
who?
start with
Lady
that
O?
one. Yeah, Ruthless Lady O.
Yeah,
I'm gonna let you
the
plug that right now. We got nothing else to talk about right now, so let's
yeah,
just
that's
start with
true.
that.
Like to plug in any ladies looking to get into the life of catfighting, the whole gamut. Come check us out at Claws Web. On Instagram and on Twitter. DM me. We'll get you paperwork. We'll get you started. And we go from there. The sky's the limit.
Guys, if you have any questions, go ahead and put it in the chat, man. Like we said, uh, we struck out today on guests, so it happens. We gotta keep it moving. It happens.
Yes, no special guest today. No
No
special
special
guest today.
guests next
Well,
week.
see, now, right now, everybody gonna leave. They're like, oh, ain't no special guest. We trying to
Oh,
see
by the way,
who's.
guys, make sure you check the show next week. There will be a special guest next week.
There will be a special guest next week. Matter of fact, the special guest already announced she's coming. So,
Oh yeah, she
yeah,
already. Yeah, if you check her Twitter page, you already know who it is.
yeah.
She's kind of
So,
popular in the business, at
yes,
least
we
this
have
year.
a special guest next week.
She announced
Looking
it
for.
herself, which
Yeah,
shocked me and him both because she was quick to
I'm
do
like,
it.
okay, so
All right,
definitely. So,
all
what
right.
you got today, Clem?
Not much in the way of news. We're gonna recap. We're gonna do a preview of that fight that's coming up on Saturday.
Okay.
So we got that. But when it comes to the cat fight news, my guy Joe Jarrell, who if people who don't know who Joe Jarrell is, he runs the fantasy slugfest uh blog. I'm a cat fight writer. I'm the cat fight reviewer for him. But anyways, he had a poll. He put on a poll on his Twitter page, which was who was going to win between Alexa Brooke and Brooke Gilly. And to your surprise and my surprise, Claus, Alexa was winning like 63 or 64% to like 36. It's like 4 days left in the polls.
Prisoner of the moment, but
I
what
agree.
you
I was not the prisoner of the. Yeah, you told me I was prisoner of the thing. I was not prisoner of the thing. I think these fans are prisoners of the moment. Good night. Wow. Okay. Yeah, when you get a chance, check that out. I think it's like 63.6 to like 36.4, something like that. We'll talk about that match soon.
sheep.
We'll talk about that later. And if anybody who didn't pay attention to the show, as I said, Lyric Lane is the special guest referee for that fight. So if you haven't noticed that, you've been told again. So that fight is gonna be on Saturday. I'm not sure what time it'll start. We all know it's gonna be in the basement. That's kind of obvious. Talk about parts unknown. Lyric in
Yes.
Adam's basement. Talk about parts unknown. Parts
Mm.
unknown. That one. Oh yeah. By the way, it seems like Alexa Brooke has called out Brooke on her quietness today on Twitter.
Yes, we've seen quite the chatter. It's fight week. It's fight
I
week.
know.
So it's just.
I know.
I
I'm
mean, ain't
loving
like
it.
they're gonna do a weigh in or anything like that. And we hope to be able to get this program well established to the point where we would be like the pre-fight show or whatever or something of that nature, or at least leading up to that week. You know, that's one of the goals I think we have for the show
Mhm.
to be your official source of all catfighting and sexual wrestling news.
Why not? Why not? I don't see why
Why
not.
not? Why not us?
And today, a little bit of different story. We're gonna talk about a little bit different National League. The Lakers' last match, or his last appearance, should we say, was yesterday at the Survivor Series. So, you got any thoughts, Claus? The dead man has been
I
quiet.
didn't even hear about it roughly till about 2 hours ago. I was like, what? They're doing. I mean, I didn't even know he was back on TV, to be honest. I know he's been having all these farewells and stuff like last WrestleMania. Like when he did that last WrestleMania, that was kind of hit for me, you know.
Yeah.
But I know the one thing of the chatter that a lot of the fans just feel, and especially for somebody as esteemed as Taker has been in his business,
Yep.
that it needs to be done in front of live fans. You know,
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
It's just that time. Maybe someday down the road he can come out and do something, you know. But I,
Mm,
I get it when it's like when you know it's your time, it's your time. I mean, the way COVID and 2020 has been, and
mm,
as a year, just everything has just been like nothing has gone according to script, according to plan. So it's like I get it. Taker's thing like, look, in the midst of all this madness, I'm done. And so be it. I mean, Taker has earned that right. He's earned the right. So yes, it would be lovely to have the. What I had always dreamed of Taker having was a moment similar to what Ric Flair did.
mhm.
When Ric Flair had the thing where he had the last match, and then that following Monday on Raw, where they had all the folks come out to him, and then they had the special segment that I think they only showed on WWE Network, and of course they put it on the website afterwards.
Mhm.
Vince McMahon coming out and Undertaker came out. Undertaker came out, in full character. He didn't break character or anything.
Right.
And just to see Taker, and just to see a Rick just cry. I I will say this. That's probably one of my biggest regrets, not just in wrestling, just in life, that I never was in the arena live just to hear the gong and to see the
Me
thing.
too.
Now,
Me too.
granted, I know, like, especially when it came to WrestleMania, people was taking bets how long it would take for them to get into the ring. But from the time they would start the match to the time the lights would go out, people would take bets. That was a Vegas prop bet, for
Mm,
WrestleMania. Because the longer the thing, the longer the walk, the more grandeur. It's WrestleMania. It was like, uh, yeah. So, but that's probably one of my big regrets is that I never was in the arena just to be in there. When you see the lights go on, you hear the gong, and then just being this part of the fury and the excitement when you hear that gong. You
oh
know,
man.
a matter of fact, I remember there was, oh God, there was in Memphis there was a wrestling radio show because Memphis is a very big wrestling hotbed.
Hmm.
They had this thing. What were you more afraid of, the gong or the glass?
Me, if it was me, the gong. Forget the glass. The gong.
Yeah, I would say the gong myself. There were some people that said the glass because you knew when you hear that glass, you know that Steve Austin showing up somewhere.
Oh.
And with the glass, you knew that Steve would fight you anyway. And as Booker T in the supermarket, it don't matter. Steve, Steve will come find you.
This
And in
guy
the
is
case of
awesome.
Undertaker, it just matters. Like as soon as you think you haven't finished, he'll pop back up, sit up, turn the head thing. Oh, here we go. So now I will say this: I've always been a fan. And again, I didn't see how he said it and what he said. Like I've been trying to find a video clip of it, couldn't find one. I'm sure WWE will post a whole bunch of stuff tonight.
Hmm.
I wanted to see how did he say it because the Undertaker I actually liked the most. I didn't like Undertaker when he first came out. I didn't care for
I didn't
all
either.
the other
I didn't
stuff,
either. I
corporate
like it when he was the
ministry.
dead man. I like it when he was a dead man at the getting towards the end of his career. That's when I liked him. But
I liked them as the American Badass Undertaker.
ah,
When he rolled around in the Harley, like the
yep,
3 year stint, and
yep,
this is my yard, Big Evil, the whole Big Evil face. When
yep,
they let him actually talk on the mic, like you realize Taker can go on the mic. Taker
yep.
could go. And Taker was that judge, jury, executioner.
That was him.
Taker was that guy that, like they said, ran the locker room. If you had a problem, he'd be the guy that settled it. Be like, look, or he'll say, okay, you two, y'all gonna go out there, y'all gonna have a match, and then y'all gonna squash this, whatever. Take it with a guy. Like even Vince McMahon, it said, sometimes he was even more afraid to take. He was like, or he knew that even as ownership, you still need that guy in the locker room that that commands the respect of the troops of everybody that's in there. And so, what take is like, look, what's the vibe in the locker room? Do they want to do this or not? Like, especially when you had different things like when 9/11 happened, you
Hmm.
know, as far as what do we do a show or what kind of stuff, it's just that that kind of thing. So it just and I think and I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know. This would be something if I ever got to ask him. Would the whole turn of him going to the American Bad Aid was in response to 9/11? Because if I'm not mistaken, wasn't that roughly like between 2003, 2005 or something like that?
Yes, it
Yeah,
was.
like 2003 to 2005. So I
Yeah.
wonder if that had any, because it may be that pride in like the best wrestler in the world is an American. It's like Taker like really reinforced that, that
Hmm.
thing, that whole shtick, with the motorcycle riding and the American flag bandana. He would come in, and so I think people, and I think that helped with wrestling's part to help galvanize through that time period, because that was really touch and
Hmm.
go time at that time, for us. So Taker, man, it was just I'm like, okay, yeah, but I agree. I understand what fans saying that they wish it would be in front of the crowd. I know you can't pick everything like
Yeah.
you really want. Like everybody's not gonna have the Ric Flair. Everybody's not gonna get or even
Hmm.
like what happened with Warrior.
Yep.
He had his moment
Yep.
when he did the Hall of Fame. We thought that would never happen. He would come back. You know, and he did the thing, and then he died the next day. In the parking
Yep.
lot. Had a heart attack and died or the heart thing and died in the parking
Yeah.
lot. So
Shocking.
it's like, and it was just so surreal, the whole Warrior thing. So
Hmm.
maybe Taker's thing may come. I say, I would say when you get inducted into the Hall of Fame,
Hmm.
they're gonna
Hmm.
fast track him.
Oh yeah.
But I just, I mean, you gonna make Taker wait 5 years? I don't think
Nah,
so.
I don't think
I
so,
don't.
man.
You almost could have made an argument if there was ever somebody that could have went in while they were still active
It'll be
as a
him.
Hall of Famer, it would have been Taker. Like Taker was on the short list of people.
Yep.
I don't know. Has The Rock been inducted into the Hall of Fame yet?
Nope. But he's about to be soon. It won't be long.
Right, it won't be long. So, but I don't know if it's kind of a thing of they want to make sure you're done before you come back, kind of thing, or
Yeah.
I'm like this. Then once they get past a certain age, it's like, look, just put them in,
Yeah.
and
Put
then
him
they
in.
still come back from time to time and do a one off or whatever. Then
Yep.
just let them be, because I know they still talking about doing The Rock and Roman Reigns. Ever talking about doing that? I don't know if I want to see it, um, but we'll see. But yeah, that's the thing with Taker. I think if I'm Vince, I would try to do it the first WrestleMania.
Yep.
You can what not when you can have like 10%, 15%. No. The first WrestleMania, you can have full throated people that because the one thing they always do is for the Hall of Famers, they always bring out the Hall of Famers.
Yep.
And I think for Taker, they would bring him last, if not give him his own. And that's when Taker's going to have his moment with the fans. I think that's when it'll be. Because then it'll be like for all of us that couldn't be there, like I guarantee you, you will have people, wherever that WrestleMania is, you will have people that will show up just for that part. Them 5 minutes that Taker's just gonna stand there and wave to the crowd. I guarantee you. Because you're gonna have people that gonna be like, no, we couldn't be there when he said he was done. We gonna make sure that first. And if I'm Vince, that's what I would do. Wait till if they get this. I know University of Oxford came out. They talking about they got something that's 90% secure in the vaccine. Okay, whatever.
Whatever.
Wherever is the first WrestleMania where you can have the full attendance back. Whether it be probably in this case 2022.
Hmm.
That's the one you need to bring Taker in. I might make it a point. Wherever WrestleMania 2022 is, I try to be there because I believe that's when they're going to induct Taker. I can't see doing it in 2021 because that be to me still too scared. I mean, wrestling fans are wrestling hardcore, so they won't care. But I think for public safety, I think 2021 that's a little too. 2022, I think by then we should know whatever's out there, whatever works, whatever's pushing. I think that WrestleMania should be the WrestleMania we induct Taker, so Taker has his moment with the fans.
I agree with you, man. I
Matter of
100%
fact,
agree with you.
you almost can make a case Taker should be his own class. Like the class of 2022 should be just Taker, nobody
Mm,
else.
mm, mm.
Unless you have something, God bless his soul, somebody dies or perishes or dies tragically or whatever,
Mhm.
and then maybe, okay, well, we need to kind of put them in too. But if it was up to me, Taker gets his own class. Like, I would, unless you're going to put him in there with, like, I think has Stone Cold went in yet?
I haven't. I don't think I haven't heard yet. I don't think so.
Unless you're
I
going to put him
don't.
in with, like, Stone Cold and The Rock, like Taker, Stone Cold and The Rock,
Yep. Okay.
unless
Yeah.
you're going to do something like that, Taker gets his own class.
Exactly. He deserves his own class. The man was a bad egg for 30 years. He deserves his own class.
Taker almost deserves his own class. Like I don't think nobody would be mad if it be just like, look, we're gonna
Ah,
celebrate you. We couldn't do it through the pandemic, and everybody kind of this one from start to finish. I
you,
guarantee you that NXT Brooklyn or the NXT that they always, you know how they do WrestleMania, they'll do the NXT, they'll
yep.
do the what is it, the NXT, the Hall of Fame ceremony that Saturday.
Yep.
Then the Sunday they would do the WrestleMania, and then that
Mania.
Monday they'll do the Raw.
Yep.
I guarantee you, Taker's name would get chanted throughout that whole. Taker may have never stepped foot in NXT. They're gonna chant Taker's name. It don't matter. That's what
Yep.
folks know that's what we're here for. So it's like, and that week you just know that's just gonna be the drill. Just I don't care what you do, that's just gonna be the drill. It's gonna be Taker's weekend. Yeah,
All right. And other stuff, I guess I didn't see all the matches, but there were some good ones. I think Drew McIntyre was supposed to fight Roman Reigns, so that was a good one. I don't know who won that one. I can't speak on that one, but they were supposed to fight each other,
I didn't watch
champion
it.
versus champion. That one,
Mm.
Survivor Series. So that was a good one. I think Street Profits was supposed to be fighting the New Day. I think I know who won that one because I saw the New Day on Raw today. So I know who. I kind of idea who won that one. They said it already. I don't want to
Yeah,
give it away.
yeah.
And there's some other stuff, but
I
that's neither here or there. There,
What do you think about the WWE and the pay per view? You think they have too many pay per views?
yes, yes. I feel like they have too many now.
I remember when you had like whether it was WCW, NWA, whatever, all of them. You had the four majors, which
Yep,
was WrestleMania,
Mania,
SummerSlam,
SummerSlam,
Survivor Series,
Series.
Royal Rumble.
Yep,
It was those four.
yep, and Royal Rumble.
And
Yep,
then everything else. And the thing I would say
too
of the
many.
four, the one I've always been the most partial to is Royal Rumble because Royal Rumble is the last Sunday in January. So every
Yes, it
so often Royal Rumble will fall on my birthday. So that's
is.
why it's like I've always been partial to it. And then plus I like the concept of the Royal Rumble match. Even though I know sometimes some years it like kind of get stale. Um yeah. What I did one time, I kid you not. What I did one time for my birthday, I went on e- eBay because there was no offer up or let go or whatever. I found somebody local that had just an old WWE ring, like a little bitty toy ring. So I brought it to
Mhm.
my birthday. I took a bunch of post-it notes and I wrote 1 through 30 on post-it notes and I put it around the ring. I attached it to the ring. So what I did is, because on my birthday that particular day was Royal Rumble. So what I did is I had everyone that showed up. Now, what's so funny is I had exactly 10 people show up for this party. Um, what I did is since I had 10, it was such an even number. I'm like, yes. Each person got to pick three numbers. And I think I went from the oldest person there to the youngest. Yeah, the oldest person got to pick first, and I went down from there age wise. And so everybody got to pick one. Everybody got one go around. Everybody then we went the second go around. Then we went the third go around. And so whoever and I had a prize for whoever won like a nice prize, a really nice prize. Whoever
Okay.
won the Royal Rumble, whoever had the winning number, you know. And
Hmm.
so that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. I had one guy. Oh, one guy. He had like because he understood how the Royal Rumble worked. Like some people, you have people that never watched the match. They don't know
Yep.
how it works. Like rarely number one is gonna win, but it's happened a few times. But
Hmm.
one or two, and then so he knew how the match worked. So what he did is he picked 30 his first time, the last entry. He
Smart.
picked 29, 30, and I think he picked 26.
Ah.
And those three that particular year ended up being Brock Lesnar,
Yep.
Braun Strowman,
Yep.
and oh God, who was the other one? Was it oh God? Was it Samoa Joe?
Probably.
Or it was like no, Samoa Joe wasn't in there yet. It was
Nope.
Brock Lesnar, um,
Braun Strowman
Braun Strowman,
and
and it was who was Brock feuding at the time? Oh God, this was about 6 years ago, about 4 years ago. So I think he was feuding with was it Seth Rollins or Roman Reigns? He was feuding. I think it was Roman Reigns. He was
Roman
feuding
Reigns.
with.
Yeah,
He
he
was
was feuding
feuding
with
with
him.
Roman Reigns. So the
Reigns.
fact that
Yep.
he got Roman Reigns, Brock Strowman, and
Brock
Brock
Lesnar.
Lesnar, I was like, oh God, he's gonna win. Because what I kept doing is, as we would watch the match, I would write and put in whoever was at number. And man, I was sitting there, I was like, oh my God. I said, shoot. I said, he might win it. I said, he got three. As a matter of fact, he had three of the final four was his folks. And of
Ooh.
course, they all got kicked out. I think Seth Rollins, I think, won
Yeah, Seth
that
Rollins
Royal.
won.
I think he won that Royal Rumble. So
Yep.
my cousin picked Seth Rollins, so she got the gift card. She picked because I think Seth Rollins was 23.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
was
so
23. Yeah, 23. I remember
yeah,
now.
yeah. So she picked 23, and she ended up winning with Seth Rollins. And it was funny. Yeah, so that was funny. Um, yeah. So any other catfight news you got or whatever?
Not really. Tilly's been making her rounds, but not really. I think
Uh,
I'm gonna just go ahead and put out the information for these people who like to come in late. You know who they are. So if you're a late sponsor, pay attention. If you're a late sponsor, that fight is the sponsorship is $50. Make sure you have it in before midnight Saturday. I mean, midnight before Saturday. I'm talking about like Friday night at midnight Eastern time. Because with her thing is kind of thing. It's like her thing is interesting because when she gets the money, she wants to make sure that everything is set.
right,
Once in a while she'll take some donations on the day of the fight. But like you, Claus and Sweet Pots and everybody else, you like to have your money beforehand so you have everything set. You don't have to worry
right.
about late late people. So
Yeah,
for the procrastinators, make sure you have it in by Friday at midnight Eastern time. That's Eastern time, not not 1 o'clock in the morning, not 2 o'clock in the morning, midnight Eastern time.
yes, yes, yes. Yes, I like to thank Mike Newt Swag for checking in. He just sent us the
What
tweet
up?
and like,
What up, Mike? How are you,
yeah,
boss?
yeah. So yep, maybe he's checking in. But yeah, I know a couple of times I've been victim of that myself. Whether it's been the way payday work and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And for some people that may be the case because like for some people, like if you're in education and a couple other fields where you get paid the last working day of the month. Well, it's supposed to be the 30th or the
Yeah.
31st or whatever the last working day of the month. But some
Yeah.
people, the last working day of the month won't be till Friday.
Yep.
So it's like for some people, they may not be able to do it until Friday because that's the last working day of the month. So,
Yep.
um,
The good thing about her fights, and my man Claus can tell you about it. If you download the Jitsi Meet, I'm going to say this now. You always say this, but I'm going to say it for everybody else now. Download the Jitsi Meet on Google Play Store, or Apple, depends on which one you
or
have
Apple.
for device,
Yeah.
or Apple. Download that one. It's probably going to say uninstall or install. Hit the install button. Unstalled balls on the left, installs on
J
the right.
I T S
S I
I. J I
meet.
T S I.
So, anyways, yes, JITSI meet. So make sure you hit the install button. This is gonna ask you if you wanna. I forgot what the other steps in it. Hit that button. You'll see the icon. You'll see a box that says. You see a search box that'll say a bunch of other stuff. Type in whatever Tilly gives you for the password. Make sure you pay attention on Twitter because she will put it in her message. Right, she
Yeah.
will put it on the message. So it's important that
Yeah.
people pay attention to that.
Yeah, because I tell people, it is definitely that's something you want to do. You want to sponsor so you can see it live, And one of the things we'll probably try to do. I know for me, I got work duties that day, so I'm going to be rushing. Um,
Yeah, I'm gonna be
myself
off
because I think
actually
if it's
for
still
once.
normally most of us something like 1:30, 1
Yes,
1:30, 2 o'clock. So
yes,
I'm gonna be rushing. I'm actually gonna be on the road,
cool.
but I tell people like after the match is over, how having that community where we love to sit there, talk about what we liked about the match or whatever. And then
Hmm.
sometimes you may get some bonus content. You may get a thing of where the girls may come back on, and we've had it where they've come back on and talk,
Hmm.
to you afterwards, if anybody's still around. So I think it'd be a fun day. I think it'd be a fun day. Now, let's get to, instead of filibustering, let's get to what you actually think is going to happen for the fight. What is your prediction?
Oh, okay. Here's what I think is going to happen. I think it's going to be like in the beginning. I think they're going to be feeling each other out. I have a feeling that Alexa is going to come out strong because if you've been paying attention to her last three fights, her last two fights, she's been coming out very strong, taking it to her opponents. So I think she's going to try to dictate the pace. You know what I mean? At the beginning, try to with her all out aggression. I expect a lot of face slapping from her because these two have been going back and forth on social media. So we're going to see if Brooke can handle the face slapping because everybody knows what Alexa's about. She likes to get on top of her opponents and pretty much slap them into submission. That's what she did to her last two opponents. So, but in the end, I think Brooke is going to be able to pace herself because of her background, her outdoors background, and her jiu-jitsu background. So I think she's going to be I think eventually she's going to eventually wear down Alexa. Alexa's going to use so much energy at the beginning that eventually, as the fight goes on, and I think Brooke is going to use that experience. You know what I mean? That she used on Paris when she methodically wore Paris down. I think in the end, Brooke is going to get just enough submissions. I feel it's not going to lack. I'll say this: it's not going to lack for action, people. These two have been talking a lot in the last 2 weeks. It's that this week is very quiet. You know what I mean? Quiet because like you said, it's fight week, so not much talking. But 2 weeks prior to this, they've been going back and forth. So and also Lyric being there is interesting. You know what I mean? Because she's also been a fighter, right? So she'll know what is going to happen between these two ladies, and she'll keep them in line. So I think Brooke is going to win. I ain't gonna say she's gonna win. I ain't gonna say she's gonna, dust Alexa because I respect Alexa, but I think she's gonna win somewhere in the line to like 3-1,
3-1.
2, maybe.
3-1. I'm going to say, I think, to be honest, I'm just going to put it out there. I'm not excited about this fight. Not at all.
Gotcha.
I'm just not because I look at it as this is what I call a skill versus will type of fight.
Yep.
Alexa can have all the will in the world that she can try to will herself to victory. But when you rolling up on somebody's skill that actually know what they're doing,
Hmm.
I'm
Hmm.
sorry, boo. It's skill versus will. So for me, skill wins every time.
Hmm.
Skill versus will, skill wins every time. I'm
Hmm.
like, I just, to be honest, I actually don't even see as much talk. It's I would go with you with the 3-1 because you wanted to be decisive enough to let the girl know that you won, that you beat her, and not like 2-1 where it's like, oh, maybe if I had 5 more minutes, I could have cut. Nah. When it's like 3-1, 4-1, you just know, okay, you wouldn't handle. Like 3-1, I think I would have went 3-1, but because Alexa had been doing so much chirping, and
Hmm.
Brooke strikes me as the type of girl is like, look, I'll talk only for so long. And then after that, she'll be like John Cena. The time for talk is over. You know how the
Yeah, I
ruthless
know what you're talking about.
aggression.
I got you.
The
I
whole
got you.
John Cena ruthless aggression.
I
Ruthless
got you.
aggression.
I got
So
you.
I think Brooke may actually try to put in a few extra ones just because she's just been. So instead of it being 3-1, I'm going to say I can't see it being no less than 4-1. I would even, I'm going to go and say, because they're going 20 minutes, right?
Correct. 20 minutes straight.
I'm going to say probably if they do the half break, I know some of them do the half break or whatever, the 10 minutes
Yeah.
of break. I think maybe by the 10 minutes and break, it may be, you know what? I'm going to even be as bold to say that Alexa don't even get a submission or a point
Ooh.
off of her. I'm going to say Alexa gets skunked. I'm going to go 4-0 because I want something where I'm going to say 6-0. 6-0 is what I really feel. But 6-0, that means you just completely. I don't think we get 6-0. I think Alexa's too good to be
Hmm.
6-0.
Yeah.
But I would say at least 4-0 to where Brooke
Okay.
will
Right.
make sure, like, let you know. Now, I don't know if they have any post match penalties. This one needs a post match penalty because I need
Yeah.
something to gloat
Yeah.
after this after I shut you up. So
Now,
I'm going
yeah.
to say
My. Yeah.
4-0.
Right.
I'm going 4-0. I'm going a clean sweep. I'm
Gotcha.
going Brooke.
My original thought was broke 4-1, but now think about it. Actually, you know what? I said 3-1, right? I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna stick to it. I'll say 4-1 because yeah, like you're right. I don't see Alexa as much as good as I don't see Alexa getting skunked like you said. I'll give her some credit.
I
I think she'll
do.
get one. I know you do, but
Skill
I'm
versus
gonna
will,
I'm
Doc. Skill
yeah, I
versus
know skill
will.
versus will. I still think Brooks is gonna win 4-1, and I agree with you. They do need to be a post match penalty for this. I agree with you. Totally.
It's
Totally agree with
it's
you.
one of those things that I don't think. Now, granted, all 4-1s aren't created equal. You
Correct.
know, if it's a thing that Brooke just comes out the gate blazing and she's up 4-0, and then Alexa gets one at the end, or I think it's probably the first 10 minutes. I think what's going to end up happening, it may be, I say maybe 1-0, maybe 2-0.
Hmm.
And then what's going to happen is there's a point in every fighter, especially when you get bad handled, or in this case, I would have to say woman handled. I think there's a point where you realize it's not your day. She's just that much better than you today. Not
Hmm.
saying that you a whip or you a chump or you not good. It's
Hmm.
like that mental breaking when you realize.
Hmm.
Now, Alexa to me hadn't really had that. Alexa has been fireball from start to finish, and even in the few that the ones we had on record that she lost, she still toward the end could convince that. I believe if you gave Alexa another 5 minutes, she probably would tell you, I believe I could have won the match or at least got a draw.
Yep.
This one, I think, would be the first time she run across someone so much more skilled that it's going to be like, look, you
Yep.
know, like especially like if she were to fight like somebody like a Sarah Brooke, we already know all day long. That's class,
Oh,
class
it's
and
over. It's over.
session,
No,
class
no.
and
If she
session
fought
for the.
Sarah Brooke, here's my thing. If she fought Sarah Brooke, I'm with you. She'll get skunked. 5-0, 6-0. Sorry, sorry, dear.
You ain't getting the point off of Sarah.
You ain't getting
I
on
mean,
Sarah.
just getting the point off of Sarah is enough to award yourself. You get a point off of Sarah, it's like, look, you achieved something.
Yeah, but
But
if you're like Kayla Arjanel, you beat her twice. Shoot, you might as well get a. You should get a medal for beating a woman once. She beat her twice. That's impressive.
right, and it's just yeah. So
So
but
yeah,
yeah,
again, everybody, the fight
I'm
is
not
Saturday.
excited.
Yeah,
I'm not
gotcha,
excited for the fight
gotcha.
because it's like I just think, oh, this is not gonna be. Well, I mean, it's but Alexa is coming with all the heat,
Yes, she
with
is.
the where she's fought, how she's fought. I
Yep,
think her looks have something to do with it. I'm just saying,
yep.
an all American, blonde
Tall,
hair,
blonde,
blue eye,
wide,
tall,
tall.
rangy, like
Yep,
American Next Top Model that can scrap for real.
yep.
Like and she is the epitome of what a quintessential. If you was building a cat fighter, like just the pureness of cat fighting from scratch, from the ground up, Alexa Brooke is it. Alexa Brooke
Hmm.
is a walking epitome of what a cat fighter is. Now,
Hmm.
when you roll and get somebody that's skilled, that got some action, a little bit more trained. Now, that's not saying Alexa can't do it, whatever. Because I'm pretty sure that I know that has she had the little session thing that she did with Sarah Brooke? Have she had that yet?
Yes, it happened.
Okay, they
It
happen.
happened.
Okay, I'm sure they did some whatever they did. But I can't. I would not think Alexa Brooke being in the presence of somebody like a Sarah Brooke and not learn nothing. You know what I'm saying? You're
Yeah.
not gonna go down there and spend some time and not come back with something. You got to. So that's why I said it's like I still think Alexa gets skunked because I think she's gonna try, but it's just that Brooke is so much more ahead, further ahead
Mhm.
in
Agree.
training. But it
Agree.
would have been nice to see her maybe if because you can't be around Sarah and not learn something. You know,
Exactly. There's something
you
wrong
you
with you.
can't. You just can't. But you can add to your arsenal. Oh, and
Yeah.
just
You talk about
now
one of the
some
best. You
people
talk
I
about that.
think, and to be honest, I'm just gonna call a spade a spade. I think you gonna have if Alexa was to evolve.
Hmm.
I think you would have some fans that would be upset and either would turn on her or drop off because they love her and her pureness or what she is, and they're gonna always want her just to stay right there. Don't
Yep.
change.
Yep.
Just be that, you know. And I think if you never want to see a fighter evolve, to me that says something more about you than it
Hmm.
does about them.
Hmm.
Because I want to see a fighter evolve. Now, what
Hmm.
they do, the thing they do, they can do what they do, but you got to be able to have something else to counter to come in the bag. You know, if you can now become more well rounded to where if you wanted to just straight up ground and pound and just slap her into oblivion, great. But if you needed to, hey, look, she's a technician like a little rampage or something. Well, I need
Hmm.
to put scissors on her, and make a
Hmm.
tap. You can do that. Like, and that's the thing about Sarah. We know Sarah can do it any style.
Yep.
That's why she's number one on the list. So that's why I said
Exactly.
for somebody like an Alexa Brooke, I'm just saying, I'm just reading between the line of the comments. A lot of the fans and folks that, especially that take up for her, it's
Hmm.
like y'all had never been. This has been the same group that was always like, again, their idea of a perfect cat fighter is what she represents, and
Hmm.
it's like if she was to change, I think they would have a problem with it. They won't come out and say it publicly, but it'll be in either in the rhetoric in the comments that they would do since then, or they may not post as much or what have you.
Hmm.
So I understand you got your base and you got, but sometimes you got to let them experiment. Like I never forget when Snoop Dogg came out talking about his affection for Johnny Cash, the man in black. Growing up when he
Hmm.
first was starting out, with 1, 2, 3 into the four.
Oh.
He couldn't come out talk about nothing about no Johnny Cash. Then people would have looked at him crazy, like what? But now he's a legend, icon. He's an OG in the game. Now he can talk about, man. I would have fooled with I fooled with some Johnny Cash, man. Like
Hmm.
the man in black, being that rebel and
Yep.
so that he can identify with, even though he's, culture wise, completely different. So it's just that, it's just one of those things is that, yeah, Snoop is still Snoop, but you can put them parallels. And I think for somebody like Alexa Brooke, because like I said, I just want to see everyone get back. Now, I love Alexa for what she do, not saying I don't like, I do not want anybody to think I don't like her style. I think
Hmm.
her style is necessary and it is a something that's sorely been missed and something that's sorely needed. And only she can do it. The way she does it, her package, the way she's put together, it just it's just amazing. So like I said, it's needed for the culture. It's needed to make. You don't want everybody to be the same as that type of
Hmm.
fighter. Then after a while, it'd be like, okay, that's boring. You know. So that's boring. But
All
it's
right.
just yeah. But
Go
I
ahead.
just think that she's good for the culture, good for what we need here in the fight game. She's a breath of fresh air. So
Okay. Uh, in my time. Okay. So cat fights. So I had a list of cat fights for next year that you want to see. As you already know, some of them already confirmed. Lyric and Sexy Wife's already confirmed. That's kind of obvious.
right.
It looks like Sarah Brooke might be fighting Sexy. Sorry, might be fighting Sexy Wife. We'll see. I don't know. I can't confirm it yet. They're still talking. We'll see if that happens. That's
I
for
still
next year.
think she needs to fight whoever is the winner
Out of the
of
two.
that's just me. I would think from the fan,
Yeah,
you know,
I got you.
to me
I got
that's
you. Okay, I have a list. I have 15 people, but I'm gonna go ahead and make it 10. Right, for next year. I talk about next year because this year is over with. This is me thinking. I don't know if it's going to happen or not. Circumstances. Change
oh,
all that
oh
stuff. I'm trying to fill some time. I got to fill some time here before we bounce out of here. So on my list, I already said it. Lyric and Sexy Wife was on my list. Number one, you already know.
Mm.
So okay, so number two, I also have the mega match, the one you said where we might have to put these ladies in an octagon because the match will not fill them. That's Sarah versus Carrie Spectrum. That's another match. That's another cat fight where, as you said, put them in an octagon, man. There's no need to put them on the mats, man. Just put them in an octagon. Have an Iron Woman match, like you said. This is what 60-minute woman Iron Woman match. You
60.
something like that?
They legends. They don't need 20. I think 20 wouldn't solve nothing. 20
So
would
you
solve nothing. 20 would be the best 0-0 match you would ever watch.
so 30 minutes, 30 minutes, so 30 minutes, and then one break, and then 30 minutes and another break.
20, I would did 20 minutes break, 20 minutes break, and then the last 20.
So 40 minutes.
No, it's 60 minutes. 20
Okay,
minutes break, 20 minutes break, and then the last 20 minutes.
okay,
A 60-minute one because to me it's and the reason why I say a 60 minute because it needs to be a best of three. Because in
agreed.
my personal opinion, 20 minutes is not going to solve anything.
Nope.
20 minutes, that's why I say 20 minutes, I expect the score to be 0-0.
Me too. Me too. I don't expect anybody to
But
tap either.
I argue it would be the best 0-0 fight you ever see
Oh yeah,
draw.
I'm in
Because
the
they're
same
gonna be
book as you.
countering each other like it's no tomorrow.
Yep.
Like you would see holes that you only heard about in the dictionary. And you're like, okay, there's a picture of it, but I've never seen anybody pull it off. You might see it in this match. Because that's what you're gonna probably have to do. Break out something like that in order to because they just legend. They've been in every kind of hole and every kind of lock you can think of. So you got to come up with
N-
something and just
Number three on my list, I got Sarah Brooke versus Sexy Wife. We'll see if that happens. I don't know. Sexy Wife, this might be her biggest challenge yet if she goes up against Sarah. I mean, her biggest challenge yet, right? Out a lot about Sexy Wife if she fought Sarah. I'm just saying. I'm not even talking about lyric. I'm talking about the best, right? We're gonna find out about her if it happens. I'm not saying it's gonna happen. I don't know if it's gonna happen. Just throwing it out there. I think Sarah will win this match, but I think Sexy Wife will make it a little tougher. You know what I mean?
yes. I think
A lot tougher
sexy wife.
actually.
I think sexy wife can actually score off of her.
Me too. Me too. Actually, I'm not. I'm not. I'm not going to say she. I'm not going to say Sarah Brooks going to skunk her because I think Sexy Wife can get one or two maybe off of Sarah. Maybe.
She might get one or two. I say one or two. I wouldn't get more than two. Not no
I
20
agree.
minutes.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Like you may get the first or the last and Sarah get everything in the middle.
So that's that one. And then another one, Lyric versus Valor, the rematch. The first time they fought, it was a great fight, man. It was a great fight. There was only one submission in that fight in 20 minutes. These two were countering each other too. Both of these ladies. And everybody, and the most underrated cat fighter is Valor. You know this. Valor cat fighter, in my
Yes.
opinion. The most underrated. We talk about Lyric. We talk about Sexy Wife. We talk about Carrie Spectrum. We talk about Sarah Brooke. We talk about we talk about Queen Gia Love. The only person that we don't talk about very much is Valor. Very technical too. Another one.
Right, because the analogy I want to use for Valor would just won't work. Even though it fits her perfectly, it just um yeah, I can't say it on air.
Okay, you can say okay. You know what? Say in the sidebar. It'll be a
Yeah,
short sidebar
I won't.
thing.
I won't say it on there. But
Right.
I'm trying to
It's just
think
short
what else
sidebar.
could I compare it to. She would be.
She's the Chris Benoit of female cat fighting,
What's it? You
or Chris Benoit, or who's the other one that's a technician? I'm trying to think of another WWE person.
and that's
Chris
why I'm
Benoit for sure.
Clem. Why would you even say the name? That was the name I was going with, but I wasn't gonna say
Sorry,
because you have people that have so whole thing
I know.
about the fact that he murdered all his family, and all that, and that's
Uh,
a sore
uh,
subject.
yeah,
Right. That's why I was like, but
yeah,
it's just from the standpoint of the work ethic, take no prisoners, never add, not flashy at all,
not at all.
fundamentally sound, don't ask for a quarter, takes no quarters either. It's just, I mean, it's something to behold, man. It really is. It's like, I think when the dust settle, I think Valor would be, she'll earn her keep. She's
Mm,
not asking
mm,
for no handouts or whatever.
mm.
But I think Valor is the type of girl where it's like, look, just for what I do, just respect me that I do it well. And it's just that you just know if you fight Valor, you just know it's not gonna be no as Gia love as all the other folks. I'm definitely gonna ask
Yeah,
Gia about that next week.
yeah.
She's just
Do that.
not. She's just not a walk in the park. She's just not gonna
Oh,
be that girl. She's just
oh,
not.
that's. I'm glad. I'm glad you brought that up. I'm looking forward to you asking that question. I want to see what her answer is
Yeah,
because she
because
had
it's
some good fights
now
this
I
year.
because it's kind of hard to compare this to say, well, was Valor a tougher opponent than Sexy White? Because to me, there was at two different levels of
Yeah,
experience or whatever.
yep,
And
yep,
just it just for Valor, I think Valor, and especially given the setup, it was on neutral soil. It
yep,
was, and there were all the other stuff with the other people that was there surrounding it.
yep, yep.
That it was a big time fight, and so Valor kind of stepped up to the plate because I think a lot of sponsors really didn't know about Valor. I mean, they knew of her because she fought Lyric or whatever, but sometimes when you kind of branch out on your own,
Yep.
it's like okay, it's like so that it showed me that she's almost kind of like James Worthy, where
Oh,
it's like
go on.
yeah, like you big game, like on the big matches, the biggest stage, you're not shrinking from the spotlight. You can show up and wreck shop. So
Number five on my list, our a guest that we had 2 weeks ago, Reagan, Aker, and Kyla, and I think her. She talked about this. Her and Enchantress. Oh my god, I want that fight to happen so bad. That needs to be in an octagon. Period. End of those two. I mean, as soon as Kyla gets there, I'm not putting pressure on her. I'm saying as soon as she gets to where she feels comfortable. Oh my god, the octagon is probably the correct word you used for that one. The freaking match won't stand because
we
they'll
we, we,
be
we, we
everywhere.
we have to find one between nine there. We have to find one because there's about I'd say at least a good three to five fights on your thing that legitly needs to be. If we ever get like your Sasha Stills and Sade and
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Tay,
That's
you
straight
know,
up. That's straight octagon.
you know
Yes.
who's another one that's out there?
Take your
I'm
time.
going to reach out to, but feminista,
Yes.
feisty feminista.
Yep.
She's another one. I think she'll be a handful. She'll be a load. She'll be
Yes,
a
she is.
load to bear. So she
And she's from New
definitely,
York, so there you go.
yeah. So she'll be a load to bear. I know Lady O put me on to her. She's like, I'm
Yes,
telling
she
you, you're
did.
gonna really enjoy. Yeah, she's definitely a Spitfire. That's why I like to say she spits. Like there's a difference between spitball and firecracker. She's Spitfire. She can. She's and I think she's one of the ones that could. Sometimes I think the bigger girls just get overlooked just because of them. They big, and so we're like we never.
Right.
But
Right.
I think they want their own piece, to be pound for pound. It's like now, granted, they know there's not as many girls walking the earth.
Right.
There's just and then even fewer that's going to be in the fight game. But I think we should not discredit them because of genetics.
Correct.
I just we shouldn't discredit them at all.
That must be Mike.
Yeah. So
Okay,
another.
another on my list is Valor versus Sexy Wife. This fight was supposed to happen this year, but some things came up.
Okay.
This is one of those other ones for next year for me. Oh, that would be a good one. Right at this point in time, we know now Sexy Wife is now on a
Low,
level. It's now on a level now against.
low
I think she can match
key,
up.
low key. I think that could steal and be the best fight of the year. Like
I agree with you.
legit.
I agree.
Still, like as of right now, if they was both to walk into the ring right now and fight, you,
Yeah,
I
I don't know who
legitly
I'm going
wouldn't
to
know who
pick.
to pick. I would just
I wouldn't
be
either.
like, I'm just gonna watch. It's a draw to me.
Yep,
I'm not a fan of draws, but it's a draw because me, they both have shown too much. They
yep,
both have shown the ability to make adjustments.
yep. I agree with you. This is like that Sarah versus Carrie Spectral fight. You know it's going to be a
Yes.
draw. That's what this
You know
one
what?
is.
You can almost make a case of that
One
would
A
be
and
a
one
great
B.
undercard. That would be a great
Ooh,
undercard.
ooh. That would be a good one.
if you put them on the same card, like there's two or three of these you could put. Like, and then let's say if you did one mega card and then did one with like say Kyla and Lena,
Yep.
and right
Yep.
there you got three.
Yep. Yeah.
It's just a matter of would the sponsors be able to come through with something on that, because I think what the sponsors got to understand is, or at least I would like for them to understand, is that if you can get three for the, not three for the price of one, but three for, almost like when UFC, to me, UFC really took off and another level to me when they did UFC 200. That's
Yep.
the one with Brock Lesnar fought. What was it? Michael Bisping
But
lost to
yeah.
Dan Henderson, and then
Yep.
there was like three championship fights,
Three
and
championship fights.
and they made it where, I mean, UFC 200 was, my ex, who doesn't really get excited for much, and then I never forget when Michael Bisping got knocked out. She literally jumped up for his seat, hands up in the air, like it was the greatest thing she ever saw. You know, just the energy and the build up to that fight. I remember going to Buffalo Wild Wings, and I mean, people was there like 3 o'clock. The fights weren't starting till 10. People
Yep.
was there at 3 o'clock to get a seat and get a table. Just, I
Hey.
mean, it was just. That's why I said we need something like that in the industry. It's just a matter of the sponsors, because it's like you can, yeah, try to do, and I just think we as sponsors are not at a point. I think the girls or the fighters are further ahead than the sponsors. What I mean by that,
Agree.
I
Agree.
think the sponsors as a whole, and I'm talking about for me as someone who has sponsored fights too,
Uh-huh.
we're not at a position to be like, ooh, we like all these folks. But what if they all wanted to fight at the same time? They did this big compound thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have the money to
Mm-hmm.
now pay relative to that? Because now
Mm-hmm.
you talking about, you know, if they each individually fight, that's going to be 50-50-50. You
Yep.
know, 50-50-50, that's 150.
150.
Do you have 150 to drop so all three of them can fight on the same day?
That's a good point.
We
That's a
we
good point.
just not at
There
that
yet.
point
We're working on
financially
it, but we're not there.
as a whole, right?
Yep.
But we're not. But will we ever get that? I don't know if some of it is pandemic related. You know, it's like, well, you
Mm.
know, maybe when things get back to normal, to where we can get the finances to do that. But I think it's like more often than not, you know, I think that's the type of thing that needs to happen. And it is just that for the blood flow of, because you don't want to be when you have the log jam. Like
Right.
right now, you even went through your whole list. You already talked about sexy fight 3 times. And for most girls, they'll be like, look, I'm done in 6 months. That's 6 months
Yep.
right there. We
Yep.
already in July, and you already got her fighting 3 times. And like, you know,
Yeah, I know.
I mean, you
I
got to
got
get it
yeah.
when you get it, but
Yeah.
it's kind of like you still got real life stuff. You still
Yeah, I got
got
you. I got you. I already,
other
I took
stuff.
that. This is potential. I also take that into account that everybody has real life stuff. So you're right. I just this
But
is
I think
potential.
some of this can be accelerated if you have like 2 or 3 fights on the card of this caliber, to
Yep.
where you can pull off. Which goes back to my whole thing about the dollhouse.
Yep.
You know, which I want to do, and I'm going to put out public. I want to do a thing called dollhouse, where like we could be like where I'm at, parts unknown, like in the western, in the desert, where like I
That's it.
have enough room right now, like legitly. If I moved all the furniture, because we know how furniture go,
Mm-hmm.
I could legitly put. I'm actually, while we live on that, I'm gonna actually stand up and
Go
measure
ahead.
this. Like how
Go
big
ahead.
of a mat I could put in here. Matter of fact, yeah, I'm trying to do the living room or the dining room. I'm gonna start with the dining room first, because that's why I'm at
Yeah.
one,
Start with the dining
two.
room.
So that's 6. Oh, that's 12.
Mm-hmm.
One. I could put in the dining room by itself a 12 by 10 mat.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm.
120 square feet.
Square feet.
In the living room, I could put, oh, ooh, my ears had to pop because I had to stand up my headphones on. Let me see.
Yeah.
If I go all the way up to the fireplace, and we'll just bridge that wall right there. So I go one, two, three, six. It's about the same. Well, so now if I do, where do I start it from? Let's start from the wall. Three, five, six, seven, eight, nine. Ooh, ooh. Could I get 12? I could legitly do 12 by 12 or 12 by 14 in the living room.
Wow. That's crazy.
That's what I'm saying. I could legitly do. And the thing about the 12 by 10 being the dining room, all we got to move is just the dining room table and the
That's it.
chairs, and that's it. And then that like this is I could legitly. So it's one of them things to where we can have it, and this is the killer part. I'm in the 2 bedroom unit. So they have a thing where I can do a 4 bedroom unit where you're inside your own suite on the floor.
Mm,
So like literally I go out the door, boom, the next door, boom, and then there's another 2 bedroom unit that's just like this.
wow.
It's laid out just a hair different. I actually like the what I'm in now better. It's laid out just a hair different, maybe a foot or two either
Hmm.
way. But I'm safely, let's just say just for safety's sake, we can safely put, I can safely, legitly put two 10 by 10 bats in both of these and two 10 by 10 mats in the other one. So I can legitly have 4 mats, 10 by 10.
Right. Nice. Interesting.
And you got
Uh,
natural walls that border all of it.
Beautiful. We got. Do we have anything else we have to say before we end this show? Because I don't think there's not much
Nope.
more to talk about. Anybody have any questions? If you have any potential cat fights that you want to put on here, go ahead and do it. Keyword next year, because remember, we're in the second surge of this pandemic. So who knows when this thing is going to end? We don't know. We don't
Right.
know. There's vaccines, but we don't really know for sure when they're going to actually reach this America. There's been talks that it's going to be in Europe. Then it might be in America in April, depending on which medical person you talk to. I don't know. Depends on which one you talk to. One's saying April, the other one's saying earlier than that. So depends. So
Right.
like I said, yeah. So basically, guys, this we're pretty much wrapping the show. But I'm gonna go ahead and do my socials real quick. So
Yes.
on my Instagram, I actually made a mistake. My Instagram is actually CLEMAKUFO 3000. Actually, 3000. Yeah, that's the one I'm using now on Instagram. Facebook is Clem CLEMAKUFO 248. Twitter is just Clem Okufo. Simple. Uh OnlyFans, not really. But that's about it. You want to
You
plug
have an
your
OnlyFans?
I'm working on it. I'm actually I don't I'm following other people on OnlyFans. I'm not really in it, if you want to be serious. It's kind of
Okay.
like a it's kind of like a thing in Brit. It's like a British thing now. Another version. Another version. I'm
Okay.
just following some people on there. But that's all I have for my socials. You got any socials? You want to tell the people?
Yes. Clawsweb CLAWSWEB on Twitter and Instagram. That's all I have. I have a Facebook account, but I don't really use that.
All right,
Um,
everybody. I'm gonna go ahead and plug in the show now. The dates. So I'm gonna give you some time to change your thing real quick before I say it, so you can get rid of the parts unknown part. All right, everybody. Like I said, the Claws and Clem show Monday nights, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, 8:30 Central time, 6:30 on the West Coast. And next week we have a special guest. Y'all, you guys, if you check out our Twitter page already, you know who it is. So until next week, for Claus, Myself, everybody have a blessed, happy Thanksgiving. Be safe, be healthy. Follow the guidelines, people. We need to get rid of this virus. Until then, have a good night, everyone. Okay. Peace.